open it up just a little bit here. Hi everybody, Jim from County Corvette. I have here today a non-Corvette, but a very, very special car that I feel very privileged to be part of, the ownership and sale. It is KK1238, which is one of the first 50 Boss 9s to be delivered. This is actually the first candy apple red car to be delivered in 1969. So when you get into the first 50 of the series of these S-motor cars, they were all hand-built engines. They were basically pre-production cars, and they were kind of experimenting with them, from what I understand now. When Carcraft did these cars, they took the first 50 and they had them all kind of mishmashed together, yanked the engines out, and went through the engines, and they went back into different cars, and then they were delivered. So numbers matching is somewhat of a misnomer on these cars. Now, this is the engine the car was delivered with. We've got the Ford VIN off of it. I believe it ends in 400, but it actually is the matching VIN of 1217. But if it precedes the car, that's the way they were done. So this is actually a true numbers matching car. And this is what I understand from the Ford gurus. I'm not a Boss 9 expert or guru by any measure. I don't even consider myself a guru. I don't like that connotation, but the guys who really know these cars, this is what I've been educated with anyway. So maybe I can be corrected there, but that is, from my research, that's how it went. And it makes a lot of sense. These were race cars. They just were. So anyway, this is an original sheet metal, original tag car. It was concourse restored by Randy Roberts of Muscle Car Restorations in Oklahoma. And Ed Meyer oversaw some of that restoration, helped with some of the research and inspection markings, that type of thing. And we bought the car out of a collection. I bought several Corvettes, and this car came with it. I know these cars pretty well. We did set a record on BAT with a T-motor car a few years back, actually last year. So I've gotten to know these cars better than I thought I ever would. But when I did see the car and I looked at the build number, I was real interested in it. So anyway, we got it, and I've gone through the car, and it did have it had a head gasket leak. So I wasn't going to sell the car that way. These things are notorious for that. They don't have head gaskets. It was a steel block with aluminum heads, as I'm sure many of you know, and it was an experimental thing. Ford was worried about the dissimilar metals, so they used a copper O-ring around the combustion chamber, and rubber O-rings where the coolant went through the cylinder block into the heads, and they leaked right out of the wrapper. But fortunately, I have one of my techs here who was a machinist and engine builder. He'd actually done a few of these, so we took it apart, and went through it. I don't think we did any machining on it, but I have pictures of the whole process. It was done right. It's back together. Runs right now. The difference between a regular S motor, later production, and an earlier one, these things just feel better balanced. I mean, these things are, I don't know if the compression's higher. It is a race engine. There's just no question about it. So this thing is done right, but the pedigree on this car, it's second to none. It's the first red one with one of the first 50. I've got pictures of the cars that came apart, original sheet metal, original tags. This is the stuff that, makes the difference between, a cobbled race car and something that actually was well preserved. So I've got all the ownership history here from day one. Let's see here, we've got the original window sticker build sheet, just really beautifully preserved, the genuine article. I've got a Bob Gaines vehicle inspection, Marty report. There's a company out in California that makes precision reproduction exhausts, and they came, I've never seen anything like it. It fits so perfectly. It truly is like an OEM Ford part. Not cheap, but it really did help complete this car. At the time of the restoration, they weren't available. And any OEM parts that we could find, we purchased. Put that Scott Fuller reproduction exhaust on it. So it's this car is probably, I think it's as good as I can make it. I don't know of any parts that are not correct here now. But every little thing we've tried to do, even like battery cable ends, that type of thing, putting NOS type parts on there. That's been the mission. It could be judged. Again, it's concourse restoration. It was really, really well done at the time. I've got documentation of it completely apart, and it's held up extremely well. I mean, it still looks like a fresh restoration. After these things have been run, of course, it's never really driven much, but after they're run for a while, some of the finishes go. We've cleaned it up a little bit when the engine was out. So I'd venture to say it looks like a fresh restoration, and you can rest assured that it is the highest level restoration you can do on one of these cars. It was really, really well done. So, we've got some other stuff in here, just some letters to the original owner from Ford, the typical CarCraft stuff. But the main thing is the tags and the window sticker and build sheet. That's bulletproof documentation, simply as good as it gets. So this is really a special, special car. And again, I'm really privileged to be part of it. And we're going to take it out for a drive, and I'm going to show you how it performs. Because the sealing rings in there in the engine, the cylinder heads, between the cylinder heads and block are new. My understanding is, they do have to go through some heat cycles to properly wear in. I'm not gonna, these cars don't have a red line. I don't know what it is. I tell you what, this thing feels like it can go to 7,000 RPM real easy. I don't know if I want to do that. We'll see how it feels. I took it around the building a few times, but I do want to show you how the car drives. It really is a good driving car. Not that I see a lot of driving in its future, but a car like this should be restored to where it can do what it was supposed to do, and I can tell you this car can now. So with that said, let's take it for a ride and see what you think. All right, let's get this show on the road. All right, now I had this thing running a little earlier today, but we're gonna let it warm up a little bit more. As I said, this engine's freshly rebuilt, so I'm not gonna run it super duper hard. I'm not a 429 expert, and there's a lot of different thought processes on how to break in these engines. My feeling has always been, if it's built right, it should be good to go right out of the chute. But back in the day with alloy technology, you had a lot of expansion that you don't have today now. But I don't know exactly what the nature of these pistons were, that type of thing. So we'll be gentle with it, but it does run out well. I've only driven it around the building. This is my first time out on the road with this car, but I know my mechanics have been through it, and I trust. I trust it's sorted and safe. So goes through the gears, nice and smooth. Well, this is obviously a valuable car, so I don't want to take any chances with it. I'm going to avoid the highway. If you've watched my videos, I normally have a route, but I'm just not comfortable putting this thing on a highway with other cars. And these are bias ply pre-production tires. My feeling on any restored car is it should perform as intended. But I think people have little understanding or short memories as to how, authentic original type tires actually performed. There was a lot of inflection in the tire itself, and it's, where radials came out. I believe they were developed during a Le Mans series. One of the, I think Porsche developed them. I could be wrong on that. I remember watching a special on that. That's where wipers came from. A lot of technology came from that, and continues. But these cars were, you know, built as race cars, especially the first 50. They're just really rare and special cars. And this one, it's the first red one, you know, candy apple red. There were several maroon ones before, as I talked about. But this is a really special car. It's a privilege to actually be part of the ownership history and sale process. I think this car is going to go into a really special collection, as it should. All right, I'm going to give this guy in his Acura some distance here because I do want to, you know, run it up 4,000 or 5,000 RPM and see how it feels. And he's moving like a turtle. I want to catch up to him quick. All right, I'm going to open it up just a little bit here. All right, this thing runs nice. I was really gentle. I didn't run it up over 5,000 RPM. Shit, I don't even know if this thing has a red line. I don't see one. It felt good there. Still making nice torque. This thing's really well balanced. This is a good running car, but you can buy it with confidence now that we've sorted it. I feel a whole lot better about putting my name on it. It was a little bit of a process to get it right, but it's right now, and that's one less thing future owner has to worry about. These things are fickle. There's a lot of nuance to these engines, but I can say with confidence this thing's now properly sorted and a true collector car. It's a hard car to shop. I know there's going to be people saying, you know, it's nothing special. Well, I've never seen another first 50 out there in the marketplace, and this car is an original sheet metal car. You know, as I've explained it. It's a really special car with special pedigree and probably one of the best Boss 9s in existence. So I hope it goes to the right person who's going to take good care of it and enjoy it for what it is. It should go into a really special collection. But all in all, everything works as it should, and it's a really well restored, well sorted car. It's not a restoration where you have to question its integrity. It's been painted for a long time. The paint's superb on it. It's true concourse. Everything inside is true concourse, and it's a good one. So appreciate everybody watching, and let us know if you have any questions. I'm not a Boss 9 expert, but I know a lot about them now, and I do know that this car should